Today we are looking at possibly the most iconic Game & Watch ever made. It's one of my favourites. I think it could possibly be best ever Game & Watch, I think. Fire was the fourth Game & Watch to be released. It's like a smaller version. There's a silver series and the gold series. It was in the original release of 4 games. There was Ball, which was the first one, and Flagman. Then there was Vermin. Fire was like the 4th one. So it's very rare, really. 1980 it was released. It was one I always wanted. I had Ball and my brother had Flagman and my other brother had Vermin. So we got them actually brought back from our relatives from America when they were first out before they even came over here. Interestingly, Game & Watch was released by Mego in America. And if you can see, Ball was also called Toss Up in America. Flagman, Vermin and Fire were released under the Mego brand. So they're very rare then, that's why they go for a lot of money. I've seen Flagman go for hundreds of pounds. Anyway, they were re-released as a longer in the gold series. So there's a smaller unit and there's a wider unit. And the idea is you've got to catch the people falling out of the building and bounce them along on the trampoline into the ambulance to score points. It's quite tricky, they come in different patterns. It's actually probably gameplay wise the most purest one of the Game Watches, I'd say. It's one that you can just pick up and play. It's like iconic gameplay. So I'll open it up and show you what it looks like. So we've taken it out of the box, as you can see. You've got the cardboard box, you've got the polyliner, like a space for the batteries. There's a hole where you can push your thing out. The original manual there. As you can see, it's got RCO4 in there, which means it was the 4th Game & Watch ever released. That was correct. Anyway, this is the small original series. It's not the widescreen. As you can see, it's quite small. As the other two are maybe that much bigger. It's maybe a third bigger again. I think the widescreen. You can see you've got the buttons on the left and right to move your character left and right. You've got game A, game being a time button. And you've also got the ACL reset button. See on the older series there, you just used to put a pin in to reset. There is an actual button to reset it on these. It's got the Game & Watch logo there, which was on all the games. It's got fire there. So you didn't have Mr. Game & Watch on this. You get him on all the ones usually, because it was early on in the Game & Watch series. See, it takes them little batteries in there, 2 of them. So we'll put some batteries in and fire it up. Right, as you can see, it's got the all the pixels there showing. That's what it looks like if you press the reset button or you put batteries in to start with. You can see it shows all the characters there. That's a good tip if you're buying a Game & Watch. Always put the first screen on. Then you can see if all the pixels and characters are there. You can see, it's interesting, this game doesn't actually feature Mr. Game & Watch. He's not on the actual casing. And there could be Mr. Game & Watch there, but it doesn't officially say. Is it the only Game & Watch without Mr. Game & Watch officially on? Possibly. So we'll press Game A and see how it plays. As you can see, iconic for Game & Watch. This is probably the best ever Game & Watch, I think. It was the most fun to play, had tight gameplay. It was iconic, but this was actually the 4th Game & Watch released. It was Ball or Toss Up as it was known. Flagman, Vermin and Fire was the 4th one. One of the original series. was redone as a silver series as a widescreen. And that was iconic as well. But this one, you can see it's slightly smaller. Just as easy to play, really. The screen's just as good. So we'll have a game here. The idea is to catch the people falling out of the building and bounce them along on your trampoline into the ambulance. Got the iconic Game & Watch sound. That beep, it was on all the Game & Watches. Brings me back to my childhood, that. You knew you were going to have a good time as soon as you heard those beeps. It's unique to Game & Watch, that noise, actually. It was in a lot of the games, most of them, I think. I remember the same sound being in Snoopy Tennis when you hit the ball back and forward. This is one of the iconic Game Watches, I'd say. Probably got the purest gameplay, I'd say, of most of the Game Watches. Quite good fire effects at the top as well. Now the trick with this was the people tumble at different rates. You sometimes get 4 or 5 on the screen at the same time, see the way he's come up there. But see as it goes up the screen, they tumble at different speeds, so the person who comes out last, it doesn't always have to be saved last. He'll tumble faster than the other ones and be the first one to save as he goes across the screen. So when you get like 4 or 5, it's quite challenging because you've got to get the first one and the third one, then you've got to get the second one and the fourth one, and then the fifth one. Like you've got to get used to the patterns. They're not random, but like they can be learned. But one thing I will say is, you buy an old Game & Watch, make sure you get on where the buttons work properly. If the buttons are too stiff, I've bought this before in the past, and the button was too stiff, so you couldn't actually play the game properly. You couldn't get across the screen fast enough to save them. Now this is one I always wanted as a kid. Like I say, I had ball, toss up the first ever one. My brothers had Flagman and Vermin. My grandparents brought them back from America. They were like 3 of the first 4 Game & Watches. And they were released under the Mego brand in America. And they were called Time Out instead of Game & Watch. We didn't actually use the Game & Watch symbol till the 5th Game & Watch really in America. Interestingly, this is probably, I think, the only Game & Watch not to feature Mr. Game & Watch. He's not on the actual casing, or Mario, either Mario or Mr. Game & Watch. They're on basically every single Game & Watch, I'd say. He was in the first ever Game & Watch toss-up. Flagman, was he technically, well, I don't know if he was Mr. Game & Watch, he technically wasn't. Fire is not on. And Vermin, there's another character, so probably the first 4 Game & Watches was only one to feature Mr. Game & Watch or Mario, whereas all the ones since did. And this is also unique because it was remade as a widescreen. There's not many that were. Flagman and Vermin weren't remade. It was basically Fire. There was Manual, and I think that was it, that were relaunched in the widescreen. That shows how good the gameplay was and how iconic it was that they re-released it in a further series of games. It's always had the blue colouring on the casing, even on the re-released game. You can see it gets faster and faster as more people come out. More people you save, it speeds up and the patterns get more difficult. We get towards 100 points each time, it'll speed up. then it'll like slow down for the first few after you get past the 100 mark. But if you lose a life, if you get to 200 points, you get all your lives back. And you get the same thing at 500 and 800 points. It gets quite difficult. You've got to bounce and catch them together almost. Anyway, this is probably one of my favourite game watches. It's quite easy to find still. Probably out of the first four, it's the easiest to still find. Goes for about £100, I'd say, which is actually probably less now than it did in the past. You never used to be able to get second-hand game watches till eBay came out in the 90s, and that they were really rare. You didn't get them second-hand anywhere. People seem to keep hold of them. It's only since eBay where you've been able to get them second-hand. I looked for this for years. I always wanted this. One of my friends had it. I borrowed it for a week and I beat it. I always wanted a copy myself but could never find one. Basically, you have to get 999 points and the game goes back round to 0. So you beat the game if you get 999 points in game A. Game B is faster and harder, but you get 10 points a person. You've got to get 9,990 points. See how the patterns are different now. A lot harder now. Look, see how that one there, you saved him first, but then he falls at different speeds, so you've got to save him before he won again. So you've got all the old skills. I think this wouldn't be made now, in woke society. It's really not really saving people from a burning building and them splatting on the floor when they don't get saved. It's not really going to be fly today, is it? It's not going to get past the censors. I don't think this game would have been made. They lost the best ever game and watch nowadays. It would never have been made. People are too squeamish now. So this might have inspired people to become a firefighter as kids if playing this. So there might be a whole generation of people who have never been firefighters. And see, it gets faster and faster. You get up to 4 or 5 people at some point. I'll play up to 100 points and show you what happens. I can get that far. It's quite relaxing, like it's just really good to just pick up and play. Oh well, it's my 3 lives gone. Game over. You see, so it's probably one of the most fun game watches to play. Iconic, I think. I think it's probably one of the most well-remembered game watches, I think, especially in the UK. I think this was a good favourite in the UK. I've seen it quite a lot. It was out. It was the 4th one. I don't think the first 3 were released very much in the UK. This one seemed to be more prevalent. Look out for it. It's a good one to start your collection. One of the best game watches. It's about mid-range to buy, I'd say. You can get them boxed still nowadays. Great fun. Now, if you like this review, please like and subscribe. Help the channel. I'll see you next time, Retro fans.